Welcome to the Autumn Championship. This is still... No, this is the round of 16, right?
Yep, 16.
The round of 16. Soldier versus Kaiser. Should be a pretty fun match.
Yeah.
And this is your first time casting, right? So, for anyone who doesn't know, this is Gibson. He is another popular AoE3 streamer who will be joining us today, so...
Yeah, it's I'm not real familiar with the UI, but we should be good. Do we want to pause while you check for resources, or?
It should be alright.
I mean, everything looks fine. 3 hunts for both players, 2 mines for both players, so.
I think actually hunts are a little bit in favor of Kaiser. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4 next to his TC.
Yeah, Soldier's
Soldier actually,
hunt.
he's only got 2 hunts next to his TC. The one that's just above it is actually the starting hunt. So probably have to restart this one actually, I think.
Sure. Especially in this is probably going to be a cav heavy game with a lot of raiding, so.
Yeah.
Even having a Soldier's 4th hunt is there's no way that he can get it anywhere near his TC, especially with that cliff.
Yeah, this is a restart for sure.
Yeah, better safe than sorry. Not the worst spawn ever, but
yeah.
Especially in a match like this, if we want it to be as even as possible.
Mm-hmm. And Manchuria is usually pretty balanced, so I imagine we only have to restart 1 time probably to get an ideal spawn.
Okay, we should be good now. I do wonder, it's going to be interesting because that was the spawn where they each had their own TP line. If we get a spawn with the 3 TPs running up the map, how it'll change the matchup, since they'll kind of have to fight for stagecoach, or maybe not even go for it at all.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, because now it's the 3 spawn. This spawn's almost exactly the same, hunt-wise. Although I think
this one's okay.
Soldier can get 3 hunts under his TC, Kaiser can get 3 hunts under his TC, so...
Yeah, I think this one's good. So, I think we're good to go.
So what do you think?
Alright.
I think
go on.
Traditionally, German would try to end up in H3, but Soldier really likes to play out in H2. So I wonder if he's gonna do some bow pike aggression here.
Well, before I answer that question, let me just jump into the introductions real quick. So, in the south side of the map here, we have our red Sioux player, Kaiserklein, the winner of the ESOC Grand Tour and our #1 seed for the ESOC Autumn Tournament. And then the north side of the map here, we have our fan favorite American champion, IAmSoldieR, in the blue Germans here. And yeah, to answer your question, I think, yeah, Germany usually likes to be in Fortress. But normally, well, sorry, not normally, but sometimes I think Germany can still play out this matchup in H2. They have some strong timings with Doppelsoldners and stuff that can be hard for Sioux to hold. And knowing Soldier, I would not be surprised at all if he chose to go for something like that.
Yeah, he really likes his H2 play. And I think on this map that could it could benefit him if I can talk. If Kaiser tries to, just do a 5 or 10 bow rider, and then age, and if he doesn't scout properly, then I don't know, German could have a pretty strong timing, especially with the buff Doppelsounders.
Yep, it'll depend entirely on whether or not he chooses to go for that, and then Kaiser identifies it. But just a quick thing I want to point out at the matchup, or I guess about Manchuria in general, is the with the sheer number of yaks, I feel like we've been seeing a lot of people play Sioux on this map actually, just because Sioux is so good at like contesting all the additional resources on the map, like the yaks and the treasures and stuff like that. And so far, you know, Kaiser's pulled up seven yaks to show for it, and well, Soldier's sitting on
just found
this one lonely yak
yeah.
that he just picked up just now.
And yeah,
so it's a pretty big advantage for Soldier, and he's probably got the majority of the map scouted on his half, and a little bit on Soldier's half of the map as well. So he'll have a good idea of when Soldier chooses to go for any of these larger treasures and be able to contest them pretty easily with the Sioux Explorer.
Yeah, because and this map does usually have a lot of the 85 wood, 90 wood treasures. That I know Soldier's got 2 of those big wood treasures on his side, and I believe Kaiser scouted both of them. Right here and right here.
Yeah, he did just scout the 90 wood, and I believe his line did also see 85. So he's going to be bringing his war chief up there. I think he's going to start on the 90 wood just because it's a little bit more out of the way, less likely to be contested, and he can still easily keep an eye on the 85 wood at the same time.
It's so hard to go for treasures versus Sioux because they can basically just run all the way across the map if they see you going for one. And yeah, Soldier is going for the other one, and Kaiser's going to get this one in plenty of time to go contest that 85 wood. Unless
but he did spot out the lion, so he's going to be pulling off of that treasure. Doesn't want to risk losing his explorer, especially before he constructs a trading post.
Yeah, not getting a TP would be just brutal for Germany.
Yeah, especially against Sioux, who often likes to grab the TP line for themselves, and it's pretty hard to contest anything on the map in the early game against Sioux, just because of how much map pressure they have with their cav-heavy army. So it'd be pretty difficult to contest that until he has a larger army, and if he does choose to contest it, then that hurts any chances he has of going for timings and stuff like that.
And I think, I'm not really sure why, Soldier had a little bit of a miss macro because he's aging 18 vils, and he didn't start aging until 330. So something about going market, he must have miss macroed a little bit somewhere.
Yeah. I didn't see what the crate start was, unfortunately.
It was 300 food, 100 wood.
300 food, 100 wood.
So yeah, with no coin down, just having to gather that extra coin and wood probably hurt him a little bit.
Yeah, he decided to go for the early market, and it slowed him down a little bit. So not overly surprising. I don't think it's going to be a super big deal either. Germany likes to grab that trading post to market pretty early on anyway, and if he delays it until transition, yeah, he'll be aging a little bit more slowly, but he'll also be a little bit slower on getting those techs and stuff like that. So
yeah, and he still did. He got his TP up just fine. It'll be interesting to see what Kaiser, if he tries to contest the TP line, or if he what exactly he does, which we'll see here in just a second. I mean, I assume it's going to be a stable, but
well, he actually grabbed the gang saw upgrade, and he hasn't been mining any coins. So I think actually we are going to see some colonial play out of him, or at least some infantry to defend these raids and stuff like that to start.
And yeah, Soldier is up about 30 seconds late, which, I mean, like you said, it's not the end of the world, but it will delay, his 3 settler wagon shipment by that much, and it'll just be that much longer that they're not gathering.
Yeah, definitely gives Kaiser a lot more time to decide on what his game plan's going to be. And now that he's scouted the base, he's actually decided to drop down a second stable, interestingly enough. So we're probably not going to be seeing any. Oh no, he did actually already ship 5 bills.
Yeah, and
I guess
he'll go gold next. I was watching him play versus Perez, practicing, and he did a build kind of like this, where he'll just ship gold crates after this, and get out like 30 cav by like about 8 minutes or so, like 8:30. So
yeah, and it can be pretty difficult to deal with that in the early game. But
especially with pikes. That's not going to do too much against bow riders. And I think crossbows are just a little bit of an underwhelming unit if Soldier does try to stay H2.
Well, Soldier hasn't really had the opportunity to even scout what Kaiser's doing yet, so pikes are kind of understandable. You kind of have to make the choice to make crossbows
Yeah,
or
and if
pikes, and you know if
the 4
you
Axe Rider shipment, if you start crossbows, can just
yeah, pikes are usually pretty safe. You can always send Minutemen if you really need ranged infantry, and pikes can run away faster with that extra speed.
yeah.
But you'd actually just send the pikemen straight to the trading post, which is a little bit risky.
And Kaiser just is a little bit of a misclick, I think. He got right on top of the pikes, but Soldier wasn't paying too much attention, so... Although he might be able to trap him here. We'll see. It's just so hard with the Sioux speed.
Yeah, the cav is very fast. I don't think these pikes are going to do any meaningful damage, sadly.
Yeah,
Kaiser can probably just kite them around forever. And we know that Kaiser is a very strong mechanical player, so I would imagine that it'd be pretty unlikely that he gets caught here. But 5 crossbows coming in to reinforce, and some Ulans providing a little bit of pressure in the base, might actually allow him to get the trading post down.
Yeah, it's down to 50 or 500 HP now. And these crossbows will be nice, because he'll at least be able to do some damage while Kaiser's kiting away.
Yeah, but looks like they might just get cleaned up, but the big thing is that the trade post is going to go down, and that's going to slow down any potential fortress plan that Kaiser might have later in the game. Another 5 crossbows coming in, going to be forcing away those bow riders. And yeah, I mean, at this point, Kaiser's pretty committed to this H2 play. He doesn't have any food in the bank right now, so he's not going to be aging anytime soon. Doesn't have a trading post, so his future shipments are going to be slowed down a little bit.
Yeah, he's eating some of his yaks now just to really try to fix his macro and get out full batches of bow riders here, I think.
Yeah, well, it looks like he doesn't actually have any units in queue, so he probably does want to actually
so he's just gonna
think about aging up.
Yeah, I guess he wasn't doing I assumed when he went 2 stables, he was going to do the same build I saw him do earlier. But
yeah, and
you know, despite
the fact that he's not training any units, he's actually getting some really good trades here in the middle of the map, just because of how strong the Sioux units are early on, and crossbow pike in low numbers has a really difficult time combating this.
Yeah, it's just...
And he's almost got the food to age too, so he's going to be getting up pretty comfortably here. It looks like
it's very underwhelming. The kind of like 10 crossbows, and Soldier going
and 5
doubles.
Yeah, 5 dops coming up for Soldier. That's gonna mean that he's not really gonna have any chance to age until at least his next shipment. I'm not even sure.
And he just shipped crossbows, so he's kind of fully committing to H2, at least for the time being.
Yeah, really wants to get something done with this timing. Looks like he might be intending to send 600 coin next and go up to Fortress. He is saving resources now.
3,000 or 1,300 food. But his next shipment's just about here.
So maybe planning just hopefully get some damage done and then go up to Fortress. One good thing about this pressure, despite the good trades that Kaiser's gotten here, is, you know, Soldier hasn't had to deal with any raids. He did get rid of that trading post. He's putting up a second trading post of his own. So, you know, he's not, like, in a totally awful position. Like, his vills have been gathering freely. He's going to be aging up himself pretty soon. Yeah, he's clicked up now, so... looks like he might be thinking, or having second thoughts about pushing into the base, but he is going to get up to Fortress relatively safely, which is pretty good for him.
Yeah, and he does have a shipment, so I assume that'd probably be skirms would be my guess, or 1k wood. Although if he goes 1k wood, Kaiser looks to be on the move.
Yeah, I think he'll most likely want to invest that into units to start. And one also good thing about adding in this second trading post is it looks like Kaiser might actually be wanting to siege that down. And, you know, sieging that down would give Soldier a lot of information about what Kaiser's army composition looks like. But, alright, here we go. So some Bow Riders getting in combat here.
And yeah, now that he sees those, he just is probably going to go back until he gets his own shipment in.
Yeah, this is not an easy fight to take without fortress units.
Yeah, traditional skirms just kind of do very well against crossbowmen.
But he does have 10 dops out. He's got 2 Raxes up. He has a shipment on the way, so he could actually potentially pop out a lot of skirmishers here and hold this pretty easily. Looks like he's going to lose 1 villager on the gold mine. Not the end of the world. Maybe a second villager going down.
Yeah, his villager controls a little bit. Oh, he didn't lose one.
Oh wait, but Kaiser missed.
Yeah, Kaiser focused the wrong build. And there's Kaiser's shipped 3 dogs, which I don't know, with 10 dops, at least right now they're probably not going to do too much. And
yeah, going to be forced to back off there. But you know, Soldier has only 2 villagers gathering food right now. He's kind of been forced off of those hunts, so his vills are just gathering gold at the moment. Looks like he's going to be sending a mercenary shipment probably to compensate for that, for his inability to gather food.
What do you think, Jaegers or Black Riders? Because I think situationally, Jaegers are better, but Black Riders are a lot safer.
I think if I were Soldier, I'd want to go for the Jaegers here. He's already invested a lot into Dops. As long as he can win the Skirm War, he should be pretty safe from Cav, with a few more Dops maybe. So I think Jaegers would be pretty good here.
I'm always worried about a big dog soldier pop. Although
yeah,
it's a little bit early, because I think 16 minutes is really about the earliest that you want to do that.
Yeah, around 15 to 18 minutes is usually the timing people go for with that. But looks like some Dops getting picked off here. Not the greatest trade for Soldier. It does take a very long time to send mercenary shipments, about 20 seconds longer than a normal shipment. So he's still stuck waiting for those units to arrive.
Yeah.
And forward warhead going up here for Kaiser. Going to give him that forward shipment point. And allow him to train Wakina directly into the fight. And potentially going to want to set up some TPs too to just deny some of these resources.
Yeah, and
out front in the middle of the map here.
And I think this is his chance where he needs to get some of these hunts under control. Because if he can't do that, he's really going to struggle to get any more units out.
Yeah, he is gathering some resources up here now, so he will be able to begin training units from those barracks again pretty soon. Looks like he's not gonna try and contest that trading post. He's just a little bit too afraid of what Kaiser might have hidden.
Yeah, and I think that's wise. I wonder if he's gonna go Black Riders, because he's got about 800 gold now and a shipment just about.
Yeah, I think that's a reasonable assumption. It would be a good way to round out his composition with a bit of ranged cav, and having both 13 Jaegers and 9 Black Riders is a pretty strong army. But does he have the time to go for it? Like it looks like Kaiser's maybe identified the vills up here.
Yep.
And this could be a really painful raid.
Oh yeah, he's gonna get probably 10 vills at least. Because there's 1 vill, 1 settler wagon, a second settler wagon, another vill, another vill, another vill, another vill. So yeah, I think it was 9 vills there, if you count settler wagons as 2.
Yeah, actually, if you look at the units lost tab, he's lost 12 vills and 1 settler wagon. So I think in that raid alone, he lost at least 10 or 11 villagers. But at the same time, actually, maybe I wasn't paying enough attention. I knew Soldier was going for some raids, but it looks like he's killed about 11 settlers of Kaiser's himself. So
he's been raiding he's been doing a great job of raiding, and basically every time I go and look at Kaiser's TC, he's got Vil spelled up. So not only is he raiding, but he's also just denying that gather time. But I am,
yeah, that's going to help keep him in the game here. Black Riders have arrived,
and that really makes me feel a lot better for him, because we're approaching the time when a big dog soldier pop is could potentially happen, and those Black Riders will just really kind of prevent that from doing too much damage, I think. And Kaiser's also mixing in a lot of Axe Riders. It seems like he's trying to switch to an Axe Rider Wakina rather than as many Bow Riders.
Well, actually, I don't know if he's even trained that many Wakina this game. I think he's only trained maybe one
I think
batch
he's trained
of
one
Wakina.
batch of
He's going for this sort of hand cav and ranged cav composition that a lot of people like to do against Germany sometimes, which can be pretty hard for Germany to deal with just because their anti-cav options are kind of awkward. You got to invest a lot of resources in upgrading DOPS, and war wagons aren't super great at kiting. But
once those Black Riders are gone, he's really kind of. I mean, DOPS it seems like is what he's making, because he doesn't even have a stable, so war wagons aren't even an option right now.
Yeah, and with these 8 DOPS and 9 Black Riders, he doesn't really have to fear this cavalry composition just yet. But that being said, you did mention the dog soldiers. Kaiserklein is at 1,400 food, so it looks like he is going to be calling that big button relatively soon. And I don't know if Soldier has enough units really to defend against that big massive cavalry unless he gets out some more anti-cav soon here.
I think the where exactly they okay. So the dog soldiers just popped, and I assume we're gonna see. Yeah, I don't know if he's got it. Even with the Black Riders, that's a lot of Axe Riders, a lot of dog soldiers. We'll just have to see positionally if Soldier can get in a good position. And it doesn't really look like it. The Doppelsaunders are just kind of running around, not really doing that much. And they're basically all dead now. And he's not fighting back.
Reinforcing DOPS coming in from the back, though. They might give him just enough to stabilize, but there's a lot of cavalry here, and the Wakina are just focusing down the DOPS.
Yeah.
War Riders focusing down the DOPS now, too. And I think Kaiser's got this fight in the bag.
Yeah, I think he does, too. It was just not a great positionally. Soldier kind of got trapped against the back of that TP, and so he couldn't really pull back. He couldn't really pull back his Black Riders like he should have. And then he did.
Yeah, and sorry, go on.
Yeah, his DOPS. Kaiser did a good job of keeping his cav away from the DOPS.
Yeah, and Soldier was training more anti-cav. Like, he knew that that Kaiser had this really cavalry-heavy composition. Like, he saw all the cav dealing with his raids and stuff like that. He knew that he killed the forward war hut, so there's no more Wakina coming out from Kaiser. But he just didn't wait long enough for the extra anti-cav to arrive and give him that additional safety. And instead, he was just positioning out front of the base here, like trying to deny maybe some hunts and stuff like that. And he got punished for it.
Yeah, I also wonder if he maybe should have invested in veteran Doppelsaunders, because he had, 10 and then trained about 8 more. And that, I mean, I don't think it would have, made the difference in the fight, but still, training H2 units in H3 is always just a little bit underwhelming.
Yeah, if he just waited for that extra 8 or 9 DOPS that he trained at the end, and then got the veteran upgrade, he could have been in a much stronger position for sure.
Yeah, it's just that's the thing about that's what makes Sioux, I think, a decent civ, is that they can really just take a fight whenever they want to, and that just Kaiser hit the timing that he wanted, and then 15 seconds later, there's just no way for Soldier to run away, because his units are just too slow.
Anyway, moving on to the second game here, it looks like we're going to be on Tibet, and Kaiser's locked in Germany. That's a bit of an interesting civ to pick on this map. Soldier going to be countering with India, looks like.
Yeah, it is, because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you only get 1 mine on this map in base.
You do only get 1 mine in your base. You do get a second mine guaranteed behind your base, like on the edge of the map, that is usually relatively safe to gather from. But it's definitely not ideal. And another thing about this map, though, is there's yaks and treasure, like really good treasures and stuff like that. If you're gonna go for a civ like Germany that has only 1 explorer, that can put you at quite a disadvantage in the early game, especially against a civ like India that really benefits from a lot of the big food treasures and wood treasures.
Yeah, and then
the additional yaks, providing them the extra XP.
Yeah, he's got 2 explorers, and this is another map, kind of almost exactly like Manchuria, in that there are a lot of those kind of tier 2, 90, 85 wood treasures as well as yaks, and I think India definitely benefits more from that than Germany, especially the yaks.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, at the same time, another good thing about Germany, I don't know why I'm saying another good thing, so I've only talked about disadvantages so far. But a good thing about Germany on this map, which might be part of the reason that he picked Germany, is just because the hunts are often so far away from the town center on this map. It can be pretty difficult to defend those 2 Ulan raids, especially when they can run all around these cliffs and stuff like that. Like, it's really hard to like path your units in a way that you can like sort of corner them effectively and catch them.
And it's sometimes the hunts do really weird things around the cliffs too. Like half of them will be on like the bottom of the cliff, and then half of them will be on top of the cliff, and then you shoot one trying to hurt it, and they just don't do what you want them to do.
Mm-hmm.
But it is, I think, it was a 300. It was a wood and food start. So
it was a wood start. So it looks like Kaiser, our Germany player in the south side of the map here, will be going for a trading post at the start. Soldier, as the Blue Indians in the north side of the map, looks like he's not going to be going for an early trading post or any weird shenanigans like that. Just going to be using his monks to pick up some of those early yaks, provide some of those extra XP, and look for some of those big treasures. Looks like he's going to be finding 75 food, which will help speed up his age time a little bit.
And he did scout this treasure as well. So it's always kind of on this map, I've always wondered if it's good to, because on one hand you want to split your explorers up so that you can get more yaks, but then on the other hand you cannot take these treasures with only one explorer. Mm-hmm. So, and I think here having both explorers is paid off because he's getting that 75 food, and I think he's going to go back and get this 85 wood treasure as well.
Right, that's definitely an option for him. And one thing about this this crate start as the Indian player, like, he knows that Germany wants to go for a trading post, right? So sure, he didn't split his explorers up right away, but he knows that if he keeps his explorers together, he can actually take one of those treasures while Germany wastes time constructing that trading post and not really worry about it being contested at all.
And Germany's
so
also...
actually... Go on, sorry.
Ahead.
I was going to say, I think it was actually a pretty good decision for him to keep those monks together early on and now split them up later to try and look for those treasures, potentially try to contest the German explorer if he tries to go for any of them, and also pick up some additional yaks.
Yeah, because he's not losing out on any yaks for the first 30 or so seconds because he knows that Germany's building the TP.
Exactly, yeah. So I was told to remind you about the Fog of War hotkey.
Yep, I just got it. Oh yeah, cool. And I need to do the score as well.
Yeah, score is pretty important for anyone just tuning in.
Although I wonder if he's gonna, because these wood treasures are quite nice for India. And now Soldier's found 2 of them, but he's elected not to go for either of them. And Kaiser, it does look like is going to get this, and Soldier hasn't noticed. So Kaiser's just going to be able to get it for free, basically.
Yeah, it looks like Soldier was kind of prioritizing finding the yaks over the wood treasures. And maybe he thought that with the 2 explorers, like if Kaiser chose to go for either of them, he'd have enough time to sort of contest them. But sadly not going to be contesting the 85 wood that will go over to Kaiserklein. But it's not the end of the world for India. Like, on the other hand, he's picked up like 5 yaks, 6 yaks now actually, and he's picking up 40 wood on the backside of his base as well.
Yeah, and that is... I'm sorry, I keep on interrupting you. Go ahead.
No problems. I was just going to say that, that's pretty good advantage for him in H1 overall. He's got the 75 food, he's got a lot of yaks, he got 40 wood, a couple other small treasures like the macaque as well going to be helping him out. So he's actually in a pretty good position, I'd say.
Yeah, and he started to age at about 250, which is just about, with that 400 wood, 200 food start that he got, that's a pretty solid age time for India. And he does have 2 vills on the Agra too, which personally I'm not a big fan of that. But it certainly is going to help him age just a little bit faster.
Yeah, it will speed up his age time by about 10 seconds. And he is choosing to build the Agar Fort in the middle of the map on Tibet, which is a little bit risky because it doesn't really control any resources aside from this one hunt in the middle. And as you can see, Kaiser knows about the Agar Fort and he's walling off this choke point. So it's going to be pretty easy for him to defend that wall with crossbows and stuff like that, prevent Mitoe from getting into his base.
Yeah, it's always kind of on this map, because if you build the Agra in the middle, like you said, you're not really getting resources, and it's really, really easy to wall off. But then if you build it on the side, it kind of, if your opponent counter pushes you, they can just kind of go straight into your base and just kind of ignore the aggro.
Yeah, so I guess one thing this aggro will do for him is it'll give him some more freedom over where his army can choose to go on the map. He can go to the right and left side of the maps just as easily. But the disadvantage is that it's a little bit easier for the German player to sort of defend any early aggression he might want to go for.
Yeah.
And looks like Kaiser's just going to be scouting, wants to see if there's any sepoy pressure coming in. Not going to be able to stay too long as his Explorer is dwindling at 1 HP.
Yeah, it'd really be nice if a soldier had just shot his Explorer with one of the Vils. Just to both deny the scouting and to... Because I don't know, it doesn't look like Kaiser's got... He's not going to try to go for Stagecoach. At least not right now, but...
I think he might have been a little bit distracted by this 80 coin treasure that he was picking up with his sepoys on the side. So unfortunately not going to be picking up the Explorer. Interestingly, he's not going to be going for any early aggression. Maybe he's aware of the possibility of a wall or something like that. And instead he's just training sepoy, going to use them to defend raids at the beginning, and possibly work his way up to some sort of timing push while Germany's trying to age. 4 more sepoy coming out, so yeah, it looks like he will be going for some sort of timing.
Yeah, he's shipping sepoys now, so he's probably going to try to push in with the 18 or so sepoys that he has. 16 sepoys.
He is still leaving a couple of sepoy behind just to make sure that his villagers can continue gathering safely, which is a pretty good decision. Germany could probably raid pretty easily, and is going to raid with Ulan, so going to be pretty safe from raids. But at the same time, he's not going to be able to apply quite the same amount of pressure onto this wall without those sepoy.
Yeah, and honestly, those 2 sepoy just... it kind of depends on who's paying attention, because they could pretty easily kill the 4 Ulans.
Yeah, it looks like, unfortunately, those 2 sepoy are going to go down. Minimal losses on those Ulans there, barely taking any damage, so pretty good pickup for Kaiser.
Yeah, and it's buying him a lot of time, because he's... Soldier's bringing back all of his sepoy to try to deal with it, and Kaiser's just long gone by that point.
Yeah, he's forced the sepoy off of the wall as well, already repaired it. Looks like he's gathering gold, so 700 coin might be coming in pretty soon, and then he's going to be following up with an age up. And, if Soldier doesn't do something soon, he's not going to really have much of an opportunity to punish that age up.
Yeah, because he hasn't... He's still making sepoy, and just when Kaiser does get up, especially since they sepoy have that tiny nerf, skirms just... especially before Brit Consulate, do a pretty good job against sepoy, obviously, since they are a counter unit.
And speaking of a consulate, Soldier does not yet have a stable or a consulate up yet, so the sepoy are pretty much going to be the only unit in this composition. Is mixing in 5 Gurkha now, it looks like.
And 600 wood just did come in as well, so I imagine we'll see a stable, a consulate, and maybe Imperial Bureaucracy with that wood.
He is dropping in a stable now, or sorry, a consulate now. But it looks like these sepoy are coming into the base. Gonna be forced away pretty easily by the Ulans and the crossbows, looks like.
Yeah, he needs to go back.
Yeah, he did manage to pick up the Explorer and a couple Ulans for his trouble. But I think Kaiser, seeing that, is going to be totally fine with aging right here.
Yeah.
He knows that Soldier doesn't really have a whole lot of units that can really threaten him right now. And yeah, he's just going to be aging up. He'll be safe, totally fine with waiting for his skirmishers to arrive, training more skirmishers of his own. And then we'll have to see if Soldier can deal with the early units fortress here. It doesn't look like he's going to have any cavalry or anything like that.
Oh, and I completely missed his stable back here because I was gonna say.
Oh yeah.
I think that Kaiser might be in a little bit of a tough spot wood-wise, but no, he's already got a stable, and it looks like he's fine house-wise. So I imagine he's probably got 8 skirms on the way. Although I'm surprised to see Soldier he saw the age up and he just backed off.
Yeah, I think he's sort of recognized that he doesn't have like the right unit composition to sort of punish this age up. Like he's just got like 10, maybe like a dozen Gurkha and a hand, like, you know, 2 dozen sepoy, but he doesn't have any cavalry, which you kind of really need if you want to punish early skirmishers and stuff like that. So looks like he's dropping a stable now, but he might be just looking to mass up units and try and deny Kaiser some resources. Like we were talking about earlier, there is only 1 gold mine in base on this map for Germany. So he is on a little bit of a clock. You know, he can gather off of that gold mine behind his base too, but after that, all of the mines are pretty exposed, and hunts are running out as well. So even if Soldier is trapped in H2 with a little bit of a tech deficit, he should still be able to mass enough units maybe to deny Kaiser some resources.
Yeah, because honestly, if you're trapped in H2 with any civ, you want it to be India, because your units are going to be a little bit weaker than H3, but you've got all the unit types available to you.
And it looks like Kaiser is going to be pushing this forward aggro forward. He doesn't have a lot of siege at the moment, and there are quite a few Gurkha out. Not as strong as the skirmishers for sure, but I think Soldier should be able to hold this just fine. Sepoy finally getting into combat with the Uhlans on the left side, and yeah, it doesn't look like Kaiser has quite enough to force down this aggro fort. 3 Hussars now coming from the back. Definitely going to be forcing Kaiser to back off.
Yeah, and I am a little bit worried for Kaiser, the same reason why we were worried about Soldier last game, just the lack of Germany really having, you know, goons.
Yeah, it definitely makes kiting pretty awkward, but I mean, Soldier is adding in some cavalry now. He's got the 3 Gardner Hussars and the 4 Soar shipment, and he has a stable up now. But I don't think that his mass is like nearly big enough for Kaiser to be super worried about Germany's anti-cav problems.
Yeah, it's not now. Well, and he does, you know, Ulan do really well against Sours. So yeah, for the time being, he's going to be fine. And Kaiser getting Vet Ulan just this second was probably when he was going to push. And it might be a little bit difficult for the skirms having a longer range than the Gurkhas. Just give Kaiser just a little bit of an advantage.
Yeah, he's just going to be cutting back, abusing that range, but Skirmisher's actually walking forward a little bit. A little bit of a mistake there. He's not going to be taking as efficient trades as he would like. And he's just going to try and force these trades, I guess, maybe prevent Soldier from ever thinking about aging or anything like that. And Soldier is still an Ottoman consulate. He still has the opportunity to sort of... Yeah.
And so, he's got the export for Minutemen now, so.
Yeah, but it looks like Soldier's actually going in. Sepoy have gone into melee mode, are going to be helping snare some of these units along with the Soar. Yeah. Another batch of Soar coming in from the back, and there's still only 4 war wagons up for Kaiser.
And that wall delete, Kaiser deleted the wall to help with his pathing. That may come back to, well, it looks like it's going to be fine.
A little bit of lag. Might have to try and fix that after the game.
I think Soldier did make a small mistake of shipping gold to the Agra fort.
Yeah, unfortunately, did not change that that rally point.
And that's not I mean, it's not huge, especially now that Kaiser's not pushing, but. And yeah, he's gonna get 2 vills there.
Yeah, and Soldier's smartly checking the gold mines now. Like, Kaiser's running out of gold. This gold mine behind his base has just run out. And all of his gold mines in the future are going to be just as exposed as this one getting raided right now.
And Soldier's dropping a house next to this mine because he knows that Kaiser's gonna have to be there at some point. So kind of get some free scouting with that house.
And so this has sort of been Soldier's game plan all along, I guess. You know, he didn't go for the early rush. He just sort of applied enough pressure to, you know, sort of test the waters, make sure Kaiser's not doing anything super crazy. And now that the resources are starting to run out, he's going to be trying to just deny as many resources from Kaiser as possible and sort of leverage his own economic strength.
Oof, although Jaegers...
yeah, the Jaegers are going to be pretty tough.
Jaegers are going to be hard to deal with. Soldier's going to need a big cav mass to be able to deal with that. Because Jaegers just beat Gurkha. I mean, you need a huge mass of Gurkhas to be able to deal with 13 Jaegers.
Yeah, it's definitely a really scary shipment from Kaiser here. And he's going to be pushing onto the hunt on the right side here. Not a whole lot of vills there just yet, but is going to force Soldier to respond a little bit here. He doesn't have a lot of vills on the left side, so he would have to walk pretty far if he wants to continue gathering food. And he might clean up a couple of these houses too for his trouble.
Yeah, I wonder if Soldier will be able to get out enough. He does have a decent mass of sours now. It looks like he's got about 20 sours. So, only 8, what, 8? No. Kaiser just got out a batch of war wagons. So I think that he'll be fine anti-cav-wise now.
Yeah, Kaiser is going to be able to kite pretty well. Jaegers do good damage even to cavalry, so it's going to be pretty tough for Soldier. He's just, you know, backing off, biding his time. He's going to be waiting for just the right opportunity to sort of go onto this army. But the raids on the left side as well are going to be buying some time for Kaiser.
Yep.
Going to be making Soldier think twice about trying to engage.
It looks like it was a little bit of an AFK raid. And Soldier still has not noticed it, so that's 3 vills now that he's lost. There's 4
4 vills now.
It's gonna be 6, I think. Well,
Soldier
not.
is responding now, but lost, looks like 5 vills, 6 vills for his trouble, while also losing these houses and the consulate on the right side is definitely going to be hurting him a lot. And Kaiser's now onto the town center. You know, Kaiser hasn't seen Soldier's units in a long time. Like, maybe he's expecting some sort of, like, aid or something from Soldier. And that's maybe why he's going for this town center right now. The good raid for Soldier on the right side, but, like, his units are so far away from his base now, I don't know if he's going to be able to defend his town center.
Yeah, and he's being raided again and just walked his units away. I honestly, I think this game's looking very, very good for Kaiser right now.
Yeah, definitely in a very strong position. More vills going down now that the town center has fallen. Looks like Soldier is coming in from the backside, but the war wagons are there to respond, and the infantry is still kind of out of position, stuck behind that cliff.
Yeah, and all the
by the time the infantry get into this fight, all the cavalry is going to be cleaned up already.
Yeah, it's not. Yep, and there's the GG. Games like this are always kind of sad, where it feels like the game ended before the big fight even happened.
Yeah, it's just the raids were distracting Soldier so much that he didn't feel like he could really force a fight while Kaiser was sieging those buildings on the right side of his base. Yeah, just, you know, Soldier was waiting for an opportunity to go in, but maybe just waited a little bit too long, got a little bit too distracted by the raids, and Yeah, just a messy ending for Soldier. Unfortunately, it was looking pretty good for him at one point, but
Yeah, I think he was playing it in an okay manner, but at some point he kind of lost control of it, and Kaiser's mask just got too big.
all right. So Kaiser is up 2-0. Gonna be moving on to game 3 here. I believe the map is Gran Chaco.
Yeah, that is correct.
Yes, it is. And unfortunately, it is Soldier's turn to pick first, so he's going to be behind 2 games. You know, if he loses this game, he's out, and he has to pick first. It's pretty brutal.
Yeah, and I wonder because he's kind of gone through, you know, German and India are kind of 2 of his favorites. So.
Yeah, and looks like he's going to be going with British. Is one of Soldier's favorite civs as well, so. And they're pretty good on a non-TP map like Gran Chaco.
Yeah, I think and they're also on a non-TP map. They're a bit hard to counterpick.
Yeah, especially for Kaiser, I feel like he's already used, he doesn't really have a whole lot of civs I think that he's comfortable with on non-TP maps. But it looks like he's going to be picking Russia, which is definitely an option against British.
Yeah, I think that's with his civ pool. I think that's definitely the best because I think India potentially could be a little bit of a better pick, but I don't think Kaiser's very comfortable with India. So, and Russia's not like his best or second best civ, but I think he's definitely comfortable playing them. So, and they do all right versus Brit.
Yeah, especially on an open map like Gran Chaco, like there's not a lot of choke points, there's no cliffs or anything like that to sort of block any aggressor or any units that might be, you know, threatening resources and stuff like that. So as soon as Soldier has to like leave his base for hunts or gold mines or stuff like that, he's going to be forced to fight for those resources in an open field where Russia can kind of make things happen, not have to like worry about getting picked off by the like long range longbow and stuff like that.
Real quick,
sort of
do you
ram
think
their units?
Do you think Kaiser might have his hunts might be a little bit better than Soldier's? Because it looks like, well, I guess it's really Soldier's 4th hunt that's substantially far away relative to Kaiser's.
Yeah.
I don't think it's too bad.
It looks roughly equal. I mean, like they both have like three hunts like within one screen of their TC, and then you know, there's like this one hunt on the side for Kaiser, and Soldier's got that same sort of distance hunt over here. So, and then after that, you know, everyone's just gonna have to fight over resources in the middle and stuff like that. So
since his berries were on top of his hunts, I thought that he was missing. I saw the berries separate on Kaiser's and thought that he had an extra one because I didn't actually look at his TC.
Fair enough. Looks like the resources are pretty balanced then.
Yep, they look just fine. And it is kind of Brit has 2 options with a 300 wood start, and they can go 2 manors or they can go a manor and a market. And it looked like Soldier elected to go the manor and a market, which honestly I think is a little bit better. Just being able to get hunting dogs much earlier.
Yeah, it'll also allow him to grab that early gang saw in transition to colonial, help sort of jumpstart that manor boom. And looks like there's a little bit of explorer fighting going on right now.
He has managed to get himself snared, which it's not as big of a deal since there's no TP and neither of them are gonna have to go for a TP. But still, you definitely want to be able to get like the 105 coin treasure there and the 120 coin treasure there. Although I imagine he can just pop a villainous TC, and yeah, Kaiser's backed off a little bit now.
Looks like we're going to be fighting over this 40 food inside Soldier's base now. And
Kaiser got it.
there is some TC fire going down now, though, so you know, Soldier might be able to turn the tables on Kaiser
Yeah,
here.
it's very, very close. Oh, Kaiser is, it looks like about 15 HP ahead. So,
yeah, but this close to Soldier's base, he still has to be a little bit careful.
He's bringing that bill in. Because 2 or 3 punches, and he'll be in a good position. Although the fact that they're both getting so low means that these kind of tier 2 treasures, neither of them are really going to be able to get those treasures.
Yeah, Villager.
Oh, he got in a punch. And he's ahead now. And Kaiser. Oh
no!
Oh
Kaiser,
no! He could have.
Okay.
Soldier had the opportunity. Oh, 0 HP. I think Soldier. I mean, it's really not that big of a deal, but I think Soldier could have gotten in one more shot with his Explorer there.
Yeah, I mean, Kaiser sort of had the next shot coming off of, I guess, cooldown, so to speak.
Yeah.
Sooner than Soldier, so he was kind of forced to back off there. And, yeah, 0 HP, that's so unlucky.
And I think the big takeaway from this, though, is that Soldier aged super, super late. He didn't actually queue up the age up until about 312, and really you want to be queuing it up in, the 240, 250 range. So Russia's actually going to be aging up faster than Brit.
Yeah, and you're talking about how neither player can really go for these tier 2 treasures very safely anymore. But Russia, since they're going to have a lot of units early on, can actually choose to go for those treasures more safely with their military units if they choose. And at the same time, all this fighting has sort of denied Soldier scouting, so he has no idea where the blockhouse is at this point. Hasn't really started hurting, some of these hunts on the right side here. And yeah, this is going to be a pretty nice advantage for Kaiser moving forward, it looks like.
Although Kaiser did go for a market, and if you look at his resources now, his first batch of muskets is going to be... he's not going to be pressuring too quickly, besides with just the 5 Cossack.
And this is pretty standard sort of Russian start from Kaiser, I think. He likes to grab all of his market upgrades, just apply pressure with the 5 Cossacks, and just dump the rest of his resources into those upgrades, and then he'll get a larger mass of units later on.
Yep, and there's steel trap. He's already queuing up steel traps, which is.
And I know from playing with Kaiser that he doesn't feel like the 5 muskets early on are very effective most of the time. So.
Oh, and especially versus Brit, where they're going to have a tower. The tower and the TC, I think, combined to just about one-shot Russian musketeer.
The 5 Cossacks are out now, though. Soldier is immediately pulling his units off of the resources that might be a little bit further away from his TC. Not going to risk losing any of those settlers. But that is gonna make it difficult for him to get out a full batch of Hussar here. He only has 1 in queue. He does have. Looks like he might have enough resources to get the 5th one out if he manages to get just enough gold.
Yeah, he needs 40 gold though. I think he'd have to market if he wanted to. He's gonna have to market trade wood, which is definitely not what you want to be doing.
Yeah, but 4 is not that bad, I suppose. And looks like he's actually just going to go straight for some raids here, not even going to try to defend the manor.
If he finds back here, that's going to be at least 1, maybe more bills.
Yeah, and this is actually a really nice decision from Soldier, I think, to apply some counter pressure.
Although he is, I think he's building his manors with. Okay, now he's pulled the bills off his manors. He wasn't paying too much attention, and he had like 4 bills on a manor, which is not a very efficient use of villager seconds. And let's see.
Yeah, I think he just wanted to make sure that those manors went up safely, and didn't get wasn't forced to cancel them or anything like that.
Yeah, and I think Soldier did miss out on an opportunity to kill a bill. Kaiser was on top of it as soon as he saw the. As soon as he saw the Hussar, he pulled his vills closer. And he's trying to catch them now.
regardless of whether or not he kills any vills, this is still going to be drawing pressure away from his own base. Like, Kaiser's kind of forced to babysit his villagers with these Cossacks for the moment. And
he was pulling his musketeers back as well to see if he could catch them.
yeah, so this is going to be buying Soldier a lot of time to get these manners up, maybe train some infantry to sort of stabilize a little bit more.
And he might be able to catch the Cossacks because he's got 3 more hussars on the way, which obviously are going to kill 5 Cossacks pretty easily if Kaiser's not careful.
Yeah, but some muskets coming in to Soldier's base on the right side. Not going to be committing too hard to that, but is going to force some vills away either way. Only 4 muskets out for Soldier, so not going to be super confident in defending that.
He is. He did get out some longbow, but Kaiser's making a stable, and I assume we're going to see 600 gold next, and that he's going to start mixing Cossacks, which are quite good. And Soldier just shipped 6 musketeers, which I'm not a big fan of, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, he might be a little bit afraid of some aggression coming in here, but this could
Although
actually
he
be
might,
really
yeah,
good for
he might catch all those musketeers.
Yeah, Hussars getting onto the musketeers. They're going to be dropping into melee mode, picking up a few of those Hussars. But if he loses this army, Explorer's snaring now too. If he loses these muskets, that could be really good for him.
Yeah, and he is. He's killing 5 more musketeers with his longbowmen. So that was, I think, all in all, that was a pretty good trade for him. Because they're now at even military population, which obviously is always good for the non-Russian players, since the Russian units are a little bit weaker.
Yeah, definitely a good pickup for Soldier there.
Although I'm worried that he'll realize that he got a good trade and try to push into this double blockhouse, which I don't think is going to end well for him.
Yeah, I think maybe he's not intending to commit to this. He's just sort of hoping to see what Kaiser's doing, like what he's got maybe. Another batch of Hussar coming out here. And, you know, Kaiser hasn't invested any... Okay, I'm wrong. He has another batch of Cossacks now.
Yep. I'm a little bit worried because I'm not sure that Brit's really ever going to be able to really kind of break out of his base.
Yeah, this is part of the risk in playing Brit into this matchup. Not that he had much of a choice. I mean, Kaiser did get the counter pick, but you kind of have to make something happen as your resources start to run out, which they are running out now. And if you don't manage to make something happen before that, then it's often pretty difficult. And the infantry kind of getting caught in front of the building wall here.
Well, although if he can kind of position himself in between the buildings, the Cossacks are going to struggle to do much. And Kaiser kind of recognizing that, pulling all of his Cossacks back. And we still haven't seen Minutemen, so I think if he can, if Soldier can bring these Huss back, he might be okay.
Yeah, this is kind of pretty good positioning. Hussars coming out from the back, getting onto the muskets a little bit. And 8 Hussar coming in from the side. Bill's just going to be blocking the Cossacks getting onto the infantry.
Yeah, and I think this is honestly been just about as good of a fight as Soldier really could have expected to take, and really quite good for him. Getting back in between those buildings just completely neutralized the Cossacks.
Yeah, it definitely could have gone a lot worse with how that engagement started out. But at the same time, if you're just going to be trading like sort of evenly with Russia like this, you're never going to be able. Yeah, you're never going to be able to get out of your base.
And really, what does he have left? He's got, let's see, 900. He's got about 2,500 food and berries, and he just doesn't have any other food. And I mean, his next hunt's here.
Yeah, with a blockhouse on top of it too.
And I mean, I don't know really how he's gonna be able to get more units out, honestly.
Ouch.
And there goes 4 vills.
Yeah, and Kaiser's doing a really good job of staying on top of these resources too. Like he's got the extra blockhouse on the side. His units are sort of babysitting the left side too, just in case Soldier tries to expand to that side.
Yeah, and at this point, Russia's at 7 more vills than Brit is, and I think
with almost 20 more military population as well.
Kaiser's just in a quite good position, and I think Soldier kind of realizes that he has to make something happen. So he's just kind of pushing out, and I don't think this push is going to end well for him.
Yeah, it's kind of do or die though. Like either breaks these blockhouses, or he's you know, forced into his base. Villagers coming into the fight too.
Pull, and I just can't see this ending well for Soldier, honestly. Cossacks are on good position on the longbow, and I think we'll probably see a GG here in a minute.
Yeah, Hussar's getting cleaned up pretty easily by the muskets as well. And Boyar's coming in too, just as the fight is ending. The final nail in the coffin, and Soldier's going to be calling GG. So a pretty convincing 3-0 sweep from Kaiser here. Pretty solid play overall.
Yeah, I think.
You know, I think Soldier sort of had, you know, he had like good positions and trades in some of the games, but overall Kaiser was just a little bit more prepared for each matchup. Kind of knew what.
Yeah, I
kind of knew how he was going to play each game out a little bit more.
I think he went in with a better game plan each game. Because it's kind of, I think, on this map, I think Soldier, in order to win, he would have had to hit some sort of timing a little bit earlier than this, where combined with Kaiser kind of overcommitting, then Soldier popping like Minutemen, a unit, and some unit batches, and just completely cleaning up. Because otherwise, it's just so hard to push into 2 block houses. And he just ran out of food.
Yeah, definitely a rough game. But yeah, well played overall by Kaiser in all these games. And I think that's gonna be it for the stream. Thanks for watching, everyone.